to our 200,000th anniversary Christmas edition of True Beta. You've just been listening to the 84th Day Adventist Rock Revivalist Group all the way from Tanksville in Georgia, and we'll be hearing more from them later on in the programme.
But first, it's Christmas again, and it has to be admitted that Christmas is the time when we all give each other presents. And I really like this time of year because, of course, it means that I'll be getting some. Well, I'm going to start the ball rolling on this programme with my present to Shep. Now, Shep's been a good lad this year, despite the fact that he's had a lot of jaundice, and I think he richly deserves the present I'm going to give him. A nice little teddy, nice and tasty. Oh. Well, and I've also got presents for Leslie and Pete. And these are wrapped in special presentation editions of my own Yorkshire Gazette. Well, there's for Pete.
Lovely.
And there's for Leslie.
Oh, thank you. I think I'll open mine later on my own. And I've got one for you, John.
Oh, thank you.
One for you, Pete.
You devil, Leslie. And I've got a present here for John.
Well, thank you, Pete.
And a lovely little present for Leslie.
Oh, thank you. Well, now we're going to go over to John, who's going to show us how to make a Christmas present.
Well, you may remember last week I showed you how to make a Christmas parcel bomb. And this week I'm going to show you how to make another thing which will delight and surprise your friends and relatives and will help your Christmas parties to go with a bang. Ha 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 ha. Well, as you can see, this week I'm going to make something else that's easy to make and very good for stubbing things like cigarettes out on, and this is a model of the Tower of London. What? Oh, sorry, this is a model of Tower Bridge. I thought Tower Bridge was in Halifax. Oh. Anyway, I'll put this to one side for a second and you can see how I'm going to make it. Well, now here in front of me you can see all the things that I'm not going to need to make this model. Good, that's cleared the decks. Now I'll show you what you do need. The first thing that you do need is a box that used to contain a video cassette recorder. Now you'll find that these boxes come ready perforated for making this sort of model, so you just detach the bits that you don't want and chuck them away. Now then, as you can see, the box is going to form the background to the model. And you can decorate the back with form like a sticky back plastic, or of course you can paint it yourself like your mother would know, to make a nice background on top of which you're going to put your tower. Now then, the next thing you need to do is to take another piece that comes with the box, which looks like this. This is a simple piece of cardboard with a polystyrene block mounted on it, and you bend them down like that and put them in the corner. And you can see the nice landscaping effect that you can put on with a bit of flour and water. Now then, the next thing you want are to make the towers, first of all. Now then, you take a cereal packet. This one has a very jolly picture on the front, and I think you'll probably like this. Now then, this is going to make both the towers, so you want to take it down the middle, long ways. Now, if you're strong like me, you can probably manage to tear it apart just like that. Just like that. And you put a bit of glue on the bottom here, and you put it like that. Now then, what kind of glue do you want to use? Well, I find it pretty useful to use my own glue. And I make up this kind of flour and water paste. It's very simple. You just make it up with a bit of flour and a bit of water and sort of mash it around until it feels nasty and squelchy. You can, of course, use Copydex rubber solution glue, but it's more fun this way. Now then, we'll put that there so you can see how I'm going to glue it. Now you hold your bag, you put your glue in a bag like this. This is a sort of polythene bag. It's quite simple to get hold of. You just sort of borrow one from the kitchen, and you're going to use it like your mother does when she's icing a cake, or you've probably seen Leslie icing cakes earlier on in the studio. Well, what you do is you take the corner of it like this, It's a bit difficult because it's quite a large bag. Where's the corner? Ah, here we are. This is a corner. You slice the corner off with a pair of kitchen scissors. You borrow the kitchen scissors from the kitchen, doesn't matter if your mum minds or anything like that. And you take your box, which is going to form your tower, and you want the bottom end to be glued, as I say, onto the bank. So you take your glue then, and you go like this, on the bottom of the well, when you've glued your trousers to the newspaper, you want to attempt to put the tower on, and I think if you'll just leave me now, I'll put them on and we'll come back to me later.
We'll be going back to John later. I'm now going to be interviewing Bishop Bernstein and the Reverend Rufus Rastus Johnson Brown, Jr. It's a pleasure to meet you.
Hi, y'all.
How long have you been in the country?
Well, we've only been here 2 days, and the police department said we only had 2 more days.
We forgot to register. They got upset.
Could you tell me something about your work?
Yeah, we could. Yeah.
Well, do go on.
Well, we feature slide kazoo, and we've had a real good time here in England. We've saw
the Queen?
Cliffs of Dover. I saw Margaret Thatcher the other day, and she was fine. You know, I do vote Republican.
Oh, yes, yes. Well, thank you.
So nice.
Thank you very much. Now, I believe that Pete is going to join in with
Right.
the carol.
Yes,
We're
he
really
sure
looking
is.
forward to this.
Thank you.
Thank you, Leslie.
How you doing, Pete?
Oh, I'm okay. I'm okay. Really nice.
Y'all ready?
Yeah, great.
Sorry, I don't have a present for you.
Oh, it's all right. Don't worry about it.
Rudolph the red-nosed reindeer had a very shiny nose. And if you ever saw it, you would even say it glows. All of the other reindeer used to laugh and call him names, but they never let poor Rudolph join in any reindeer games. Well, then one foggy Christmas Eve, Santa came to say, Rudolph, with your nose so bright, won't you guide my sleigh tonight? And then all the reindeer loved him as they shouted out with glee, Rudolph the red-nosed reindeer, you'll go down in history. Foggy Christmas Eve, Santa came to say,
Rudolph, with your nose so bright,
Won't you guide my sleigh tonight?
you know that all the reindeer loved him as I shouted out with glee, Rudolph the red-nosed reindeer, you go down in history.
Well, now let's go over to John to see how he's getting on with his model.
As you can see, I'm getting on quite well with my model here. What? Oh. As you can see, I'm getting on quite well with my model. I've put the towers up, as I showed you. Now, what I've done also, I've put on top of these a couple of little egg holders from one of those nice cardboard egg boxes. You can get one from your mother. She probably has a good store of them for stupid programs like these. Now then, you just glue them on with liberal quantities of this flour and water paste I showed you how to make 3 weeks ago. Now the next thing we're going to do on this model is to make the drawbridge. This is a little bit difficult. In fact, it took me about 2 months to work it out myself. And what I've decided to do is this. First of all, you need a box that used to contain custard powder. Now you can notice that the nice television company has blacked out the label so that you can't see who made it. And what you need to do is to cut it down the middle, rather like we did for the cereal box. So, you're going to need a sharp knife at this point because it's somewhat easier to cut this box with a sharp knife. Now, if you're a tiny, and I mean the sort of tiny that needs a stepladder to reach the work, you'll probably find it easier to get your mummy to do this for you, because with a bit of luck she'll take her fingers off and we'll all have a good laugh. Now then, it's quite simple. You just insert the point of the knife into the middle of the box. God. You just insert the knife into the middle of the box like that and sort of carve around it like so. You'd probably find it easier to use a pair of scissors. And so you take your scissors and cut round the box like that. You cut round the box like that, and this will give you your 2 drawbridge pieces. There you are, there's one of the drawbridge pieces. Now then, to make the drawbridges work, you're obviously going to need some kind of hinge. And I suggest that the best kind of stuff to use for these hinges is cello sticky tape. And you take a piece of the sticky tape and just tear it off like that, and you fold it over in the middle like so, and put it down along the fold right at the bottom of your tower. And on top of it, you press your drawbridge piece like that. Now that will now bend. It's a little rickety at the moment, the model. It's not quite dried yet. Now then, just for the purposes of simplicity, I'll put in just the one drawbridge at the moment. Now you've got to have something that's going to make your drawbridges go up. And I think string looks pretty unsightly on this model, so what I'm going to use is another fairly large piece of sticky tape, and I have it here. This is what you're going to need. You attach this one end to the drawbridge itself, and therefore when you pull on it, the drawbridge is going to raise, you see. This is really quite a clever idea, and I'm glad I thought of it. Now then, you put the next piece of the sticky tape over the top, just to hold it for the moment, while you get ready to do the other end. And at this point, at this juncture, I seem to be having a little trouble with the tape, and hang on, there, and yes, well, as I was saying, I was putting the tape onto the model like this. Now then, well, and you throw it away. Now then, the next thing you have to do is get your string out. Well, I haven't got any string at the moment, and I seem to have got something a bit short of materials. But all I've got is this egg box, and I'm really not too sure about what to do with it at the moment. And you can shut up too. So while I think about it, let's go over to Leslie, who I'm sure has got something over there.
Well, I've got another Christmas present idea. This time it's for your little brothers and sisters. It's a lovely, fluffy, cuddly teddy bear. So soft and cuddly. Well, now for news of the Appeal Fund. Now, this is now standing at 1,300 beer glasses. Now, this is due to a very generous donation of 416 beer glasses from the Horsham Bar Committee and 372 from the pub. And now for a further reminder of the aims of the appeal, over to Steve.
Well, thanks very much, Leslie. Well, with these 1,300 beer glasses, we can now afford to buy 4 buses for a deprived community who really need those buses to reach their therapeutic classes. Pretty the film's bad. With no further ado, then, let's go over and see John and see how he's working model of Tower Bridge.
Well, you can see now that I've got on pretty well, really. I've put in the walkways and the other drawbridge, and so the model's pretty nearly complete. Now then, you'll remember that I said, though, that it needs obviously a bit of decoration. Now then, what I prefer to do is to put some buildings on the backdrop here, on the backing, to put something representing the water down at the front, and of course you've got to actually do something on the towers themselves to make them look good. Now, as I said, you can use formic sticky back plastic for this, which is quite nice and comes in nice patterns like tartan and sky blue with red spots. But the question you must ask yourself first is, does this look quite right for the Tower Bridge? Well, I don't think it does. So what I'm going to do is, first of all, I'll put my river in. And that looks really good, I think. So what I'm next going to have to do is actually put the things on the tower itself. So I've got to get some windows in, because windows make it look good, and as I'm doing a kind of nighttime model, the windows need to be of some bright material. So I suggest if you filch all the bottle caps off your mum's milk, it shouldn't matter if it goes sour. I mean, at least your mum will know that the bottle caps are being used for a good cause. And you cut them up with your pair of scissors into a rough window shape, more or less like that. And with a bit of your flour and water paste, you stick them all on. They're taking a bit off the large amounts you spilt during the making of the model. You put them on like that, now so they stay on your finger, like that, on the tower. And I think that's going to look good. Now, if you do lots of them, the tower is going to look pretty good. I'll just do another one so that you can see how it's done. And this time I think I'll use this pie case, which is a lot nicer to cut. And you just cut it out more or less like this, and it really is very simple, and nobody can go wrong on this. Even a complete idiot couldn't go wrong on this one. Yeah, well, you just take a bit of glue on your finger and stick it on like that, and like that, and oh dear, and you might have a small bit of trouble with the tower. Yeah, right. And what I'll do is I'll show you the finished model and how it works, because I think we made a small mistake here, like bringing me on the show. And here we are with the real model. Now, this really is a beauty, isn't it? I really must say this is absolutely fantastic. Now, and you can see that on this model I've used string, and you'll also notice that you can't see the string, and you can't see any joins either. And this is simply because I've cantilevered the whole structure with me glass-blowing kit. So I reckon I'm pretty clever, and this is what it's going to do. You pull the string, and the drawbridge will raise. You just hold the model down on the desk, because it's not glued down, and you wouldn't want the model to sort of pull up into your face, would you? Right, then I'll just pull it, and we'll watch the drawbridge go up. I think I'm going to cry.
Like the ones I used to know, where the treetops glisten and children listen to hear sleigh bells in the snow. Well, I'm
Bye.